Hi, my name is Carley Newman, and today I will be discussing the devastating disease, ALS. One day, this past summer, my volleyball team and I stood in one of our teammates' backyard and took videos of ourselves dumping ice-cold water on our heads. This was for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Many of you may have heard of this or even participated in it and not known exactly what it was for. And that is what I am here to tell you. ALS is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Amyotrophic means the muscles of the body lose nourishment and become small and weak. Lateral means the disease affects the sides of the spinal cord where nerve cells that nourish the muscles are located. And sclerosis means the diseased parts of the spine develop hardened or scarred tissue in place of healthy muscles. The disease is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, after Lou Gehrig, a Hall of Fame baseball player for the New York Yankees, who was diagnosed with the disease in the 1930s. This is my mom's first cousin, Scott. In 2009, he was walking through an airport and noticed he was dragging his right foot and almost tripping over it. When he got home, Scott and his wife, Terry, went to a doctor. The doctor simply said it was associated to a reoccurring back issue. After several more months and several more tests, it was determined Scott needed to see a neurologist. ALS damages motor neurons in the brain and the spinal cord. Motor neurons are nerve cells that control muscle movement. Upper motor neurons send messages from the brain to the spinal cord, and lower motor neurons send messages from the spinal cord to the muscles. Over time, ALS causes these motor neurons to shrink and disappear, and the muscles no longer get messages to move, and the body gradually becomes paralyzed. In Scott's story, about 7 months later, it was determined that this is what was occurring in his body, and he was diagnosed with ALS. Over about a year, the disease progressed from his right leg to his left leg, and he started to have to wear leg braces. As the disease progressed further, he started to have to use a cane, a manual wheelchair, a walker, until 2012 that he was confined to an electric wheelchair. It was also in 2012 that Scott had a tracheotomy, and a permanent trach was put into his throat for survival. After this, he went through rehab and amazingly was able to walk again until late 2013 when the disease progressed at a rapid rate. It was then, in March 2014, that Terry had to call hospice into their home to help take care of Scott. Through the years, Scott never complained or questioned why me. It was then, on July 1st, 2014, that Scott lost his battle with ALS, just shy of his 50th birthday. Scott was a man who could fill any room with positivity and laughter, and I don't think many people dealing with this disease could have done that. The average life expectancy of a person with ALS is 2 to 5 years. 10% can live up to 10 years, and 5% can live up to 20 years. And sadly, Scott was a part of this common group that only lives for 2 to 5 years. ALS can and will affect anyone, and this was proven when a great guy like Scott and so many others are affected by this disease. The most difficult part of ALS to understand is that there is no cure. There's only one medication approved by the FDA called Riluzole that happened in 1995. That was 20 years ago. In 2013, the ALS Association spent $7.2 million on research, 28% of their operating budget. ALS is a very complex and difficult disease. There is not just one medication that will fix everything that goes wrong with ALS, and there is most likely more than one cause of ALS. Researchers and doctors are working every day to try and find that main cause or a cure, but with that, more time and more money are always needed. And that is why the Ice Bucket Challenge was so remarkable, is because in 2014, over $100 million were donated to the ALS Association, whereas in the year before, in 2013, only $29 million was donated to the association. Social media had a huge part in the success of the Ice Bucket Challenge. On Facebook alone, 1.2 million videos were posted in honor of the Ice Bucket Challenge. The phenomena started near the Boston area by Pete Frates, who is the guy in the top right corner. He was a former Boston College baseball player and was stricken with the disease in 2012 and quickly became a face for the disease as the Ice Bucket Challenge went viral. ALS is responsible for 2 in 100,000 deaths, and 5,600 people are diagnosed per year with ALS. This may not seem like much compared to, say, heart disease, which takes the life of 1 in 4 per year. But with heart disease, it can be prevented at an extent with a healthier lifestyle, whereas ALS seems to have no prevention and strikes randomly. And when a disease like ALS hits as close to home as it did for me and my family this past year, it becomes very hard to ignore. I hope I have enlightened you today on how truly devastating ALS is, and with all the diseases around the world that need cure, why ALS is the most important to me. Thank you.